Team Victorious, this is Yuri. I am making a video to show you guys basically what we can work on first. This was one thing that I sat down and wrote down probably 50 times or more. It's called the Rule of 72. This is a great presentation for anybody on the fly, really. If you're sitting next to someone at the bar, you could do this on a napkin. If you're just meeting somebody and they ask you what you do, you can show them this simple concept. And this is exactly what we do. So take a look, and the storyline of this is important. We got to make this relevant to people, otherwise it's just mathematics. And a lot of people are kind of self-doubting, really, when it comes to the simplicity of this stuff. So you need to tie it to them. Have a small conversation that leads to a large conversation, and then we can show them the power of what we do. So I generally start with somebody and I say, hey, do you know anybody right now that's 18 years old and is just about to graduate, or possibly has already graduated? And they generally say, yeah, I know somebody. So 18 years old. If we gave them $2,000 for their graduation, where would most 18-year-olds put their money? Well, if they had to put it somewhere, they'd put it in a bank, but most kids would spend it, right? Yeah, they'd spend it. I was 19 and I spent $2,100 on a stereo system that I probably didn't need. So I tell them, let's say they were forced to save it, right? Where would most people put it? In a savings account. Yep, in a savings account in a bank. Most people are taught to put their money in a bank because it's FDIC insured and it's really safe. But at the height, on average, the bank would only give us a 3% rate of return. And so the rule of 72 is easy. This is known as the banker's rule. 72 divided by whatever interest rate we are receiving tells us how many years, sorry, little guys in the background, for that lump sum to double. So in this case, it's going to be 24 years. So 24 years from 18, we're going to be 42 years old. And that's going to be $4,000. Plus another 24 years, we're going to be 66. It's going to be $8,000. Now, I asked them, is 8 better than 2? Yeah. But we can't do anything with it too much because the rate of inflation right now is roughly 2.75. So we are only beating inflation by 0.25, if that. But where did we put our money? In a bank. What does the bank do with our money? Well, they're smart. They know how to make money with our money. They don't put it in a brown paper bag in a corner somewhere that says this is only Yuri's money or what have you. They go and invest it in the global economy, right? This is my globe. And they loan it to people in interests and fees. They loan it to people like me at 9%. They can find people with bad credit at 12%. I've seen it go to 24, all the way up to 35, 36% on interest rates on credit cards, right? This is how banks work. They loan the money out because they know of this banker's rule. So they have our $2,000. We sat on it until we were 66, right? They find someone at a 12% rate. Not hard to do with minimal credit. 72 divided by the rate of return tells us how long it'll take for that lump sum of money to double. In this case, it's every 6 years. So it doubled for the bank when I was 24, when I was 30, 36, 42, 48, 54, 60, 66. So I went to 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, 256, $512 that the bank knows how to make with my $2,000 because I gave it to them and I just sat on it, right? They made 512, but don't worry, they only let me keep 8. Is that really fair? And I wait for an answer. Everybody says no. I say, this is exactly what I do. We teach people. If you had to choose, which one would you be in? Everybody says B. I ask them, if you didn't know about B, where would you go to save your money? Everybody realizes at this point we are only taught about this world. And then I ask them, is there any incentive for the banking industry to teach us the rule of 72? No. If the market crashed today and we only had half of what we had built up, would we still be in a better position? You betcha. So I teach people, and that's what we do. We teach people of this world. There are vehicles out there that we help people with, and we are licensed to do the paperwork. We're pencil pushers. This is the rule 72, you guys. Take a look at the math. It is always the same. We always use 3% because that was the average in the height of the banking industry, as well as the math comes out to be real simple. And we use a 12%, but it's important not to just put 12%. You need to go through the list of percentages that exist. And then we pick the middle number, because again, the math is simple. It keeps the apples to apples, 66 and 66. That way we are comparing apples to apples. This is what we get, but this is what the bank gets. And so we need to illuminate this disparity. All right, practice this, practice this, practice this. The numbers are always the same. Once you get the numbers down, you can talk to the storyline so it makes sense and relevance to everybody that you talk to. Hopefully this works, guys.